Hello there, grade 5 students. It's Mr. Waterman again with today's math lesson. Today is Thursday, September 24th, 2020. I hope all of you are doing safe and well. I am really looking forward to seeing you all next week in math class for so many reasons. One, I haven't seen you all in a very long time. Two, it's much easier teaching you face-to-face than it is making a video. Wouldn't you agree? Yes, Mr. Waterman, right? I bet some of you have forgotten what I look like, haven't you? All right. So in front of me, I have your homework book that you have been doing your homework in. You will need to bring this to school with you next week for a few different reasons. One, I need to check and make sure that you have done your homework. If you have done your homework, I can give you credit. That's a good thing. If you have not done your homework, I cannot give you any credit. That's a bad thing. All right? So please make sure you have done your homework the last few weeks, okay? In case you have no idea what I'm talking about, make sure you have completed page 65, page 66, okay? Page 65, add fractions with unlike denominators. Page 66, add mixed numbers with unlike denominators. You will need to have completed page 68, subtract with unlike denominators. And for today's lesson, page 70, subtract mixed numbers with unlike denominators, okay? 4 pages, very important. Make sure you bring these books with you next week, okay? That's number 1. Number 2, when you come to school next week, you're going to have a math test. This is going to be the first math test of term 2, okay? So the math test is going to cover everything I just read off to you, adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators, adding and subtracting mixed numbers with unlike denominators. Make sure you go back and you study these pages. Sometimes I use some of the same questions from either your homework book or your practice book, and sometimes the textbook. So if I have given you any textbook activities, please review them, okay? Let's move on to today's lesson. All right. I'm going to bring my book back, open my textbook to page 274, and today we are looking at subtract mixed numbers with unlike denominators. Isn't this so much fun? Don't you just love all the fun that you can have with fractions? I know I do. I'm going to give it a big thumbs up. I love it. All right. So let's look at the word problem here. You can listen very carefully and read along if you would like to. Last night, Tyler slept 8½ hours, and Vanessa slept 9¼ hours. How much longer did Vanessa sleep than Tyler? Okay, look at Vanessa over here sleeping. I bet some of you wish you were doing the same thing right now, don't you? All right, so I'm going to take my clunky textbook away because it's easier for me to just have my notebook, and I'm going to write my problem out again. So I have 9¼ okay, and I'm going to subtract that from 8½ okay? So we do this the same way we did when we added mixed numbers with unlike denominators. We're going to separate the whole numbers from the fractions, okay? So that's what I'm going to do first. 9 minus 8, that equals 1. So that takes care of my whole number for now. I just leave the 1 alone. Now the next part I need to work with is the fractions, okay? So I have 1/4 minus 1/2. Okay? Well, we have to find our least common denominator, right? LCD. Least common denominator. Make sure you know how to spell least common denominator. That is a question on your test. All right? That's your first hint. All right. So now, over here, I'm going to write my 2, and I'm going to write my 4, and I'm going to find my LCM, least common multiples, right? All right, I'll start with 2. I'm going to make this very easy today because 2 and 4 are such small numbers. So 2, 4. I need to go no further. All right? There we go. So now I'm going to write 1/4 again. And I'm going to write 1/2. So now I am going to need to multiply 1/4, the numerator and denominator, by 1. That gives me 1/4. Nothing changes. Okay? For 1/2, I'm going to multiply the numerator and denominator by 2 because I need my denominators to be the same. That gives me 2/4. All right? So now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to subtract 1/4 minus 2/4. And now that's going to give me a negative number, right? Because 1 is smaller than 2. So what that is going to give me is minus 1/4. Okay? Well, I can't have that as an answer, right? And then I have my whole number up here. So I'm going to bring my 1 back into the mix. Okay, so now that's 1 minus 1/4, which is really easy. That is going to give me 3/4 as an answer. Okay, if you want to check that, 3/4 plus 1/4 equals 4/4. And you know when we have the number over itself, that's just going to give us 1. Okay? So that is our answer. Vanessa slept 3/4 longer than Tyler. All right? Have a good look at that before I go on to the next examples. If you guys have any questions, come and find me after school. If you don't come and find me, then that tells me, yes, Mr. Waterman, I understand everything, and I will be ready for the test next week, and I will have all of my homework finished, and I will bring it to you with a big smile on my beautiful face. All right, moving right along. I'm going to bring my textbook. Oh, such a heavy textbook. Back in, and I'll do a few sample problems with you. So we're going to look down here. I'm going to do number 1. Okay. 4 1/3 minus 2 1/5. Okay. Give myself some space down here. 4 1/3 minus 2 1/5. Okay, so who remembers? What do I do first? Hint, look at the example above. I have to separate the whole numbers from the fractions. So, 4 minus 2. That gives me 2. Leave the whole number alone for right now. Now let's focus on the fractions. 1/3 minus 1/5. Okay, so now going to do the same thing we did before. Let's find the least common multiples for 3 and 5. Okay, what are they for 3? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. There's my shortcut. I already know it's going to be 15. Just in case you want to check, 5, 10, 15. There it is. I need go no further. Great. All right. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write 1/3, and I'm going to multiply the numerator and denominator by what number? Number 5. And when I do that, that gives me 5/15. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing for 1/5. This time, I'm going to multiply the numerator and denominator by 3. And that is going to give me 3/15. Okay? Now I'm ready to subtract. 5/15 minus 3/15. That is going to give me 2 and 2/15, because you have to bring that whole number down back into the mix. And that is your answer. Okay? Let's do one more example, because I think you guys are in good shape with fractions, and I've spoken to your Korean teachers, and they have told me that you have finished adding and subtracting fractions, and you have moved on. So I need to catch up with them. One more example. All right. I'm going to do number 2. 9 9/10 minus 4 2/5. All right. There we go. 9 9/10 minus 4 2/5. All right. By now, everyone can do this in their sleep, right? Let's do this with the whole numbers. 9 minus 4. That equals 5. Leave that alone. Now work with the fractions. What are my least common multiples for 5 and 10? I wonder what it will be. Let's check. 5, 10, and I'm going to stop. There we go. That takes care of that. All right. So now, 9/10. We need to multiply the numerator and denominator by 1. 9/10 stays the same. All right. Now you're going to do the same thing for 2/5. Multiply the numerator and denominator this time by 2. And that's going to give me 4/10. Okay? Now, 9/10 minus 4/10. That's going to give me 5/10. Okay? Now let's look at that fraction, 5/10. Can we do something with 5/10? Can we make that a little bit smaller? Do you remember what it's called when we make a fraction as small as possible? If you said simplify, that is correct. And yes, we can simplify 5/10 very easily. We'll divide the numerator and denominator by 5, and that's going to give me 1/2. But now I've got to bring my whole number down. So I bring the 5 down, and now my answer is 5 1/2. There is my answer, and I think you guys are now ready to go. All right, so at this point, you can take out your practice books, okay? I'm going to close my notebook up. You're going to open up your practice book. And you're going to put a check mark next to subtract mixed numbers with unlike denominators. And you're going to go to page 70. Okay? This is what you're going to work on the rest of the period. Subtract mixed numbers with unlike denominators. Okay? Now, remember, if you don't have a lot of space to show work, that is what the back of this paper is for, and I'm sure your teachers will be more than happy to pass out notebook paper that I have given them, okay? You must show your work. No work, no credit. No work, DIA. DIA, unhappy student, okay? And I don't like saying DIA, but I think some of you want to hear me say it anyway. Please show your work for each problem. There are 26 problems on this page. This is excellent practice for you for Monday's test, okay? If you don't finish everything, that's okay. Keep your practice books in your desk because I'm going to ask you to show me your practice books as well, okay? Now, if you manage to finish everything in this activity, anything that you have not finished, you go back and you make sure those pages are finished, okay? Great. Now, the bell rings. You didn't finish everything. No problem. Close your book. Put this back into your desk. At home, you're going to complete this page, page 70, okay? You have 15 questions. Make sure when you do the word problem, you answer the word problem in a sentence, okay? You can have the fraction there, but please give me the answer in a full sentence. And where it says show your work, please show your work for the word problem over here in this space, okay? You're going to treat this the same way you treat the page in your practice book. If you don't have a lot of room or if you write really big, make sure you show your work on the back. If I don't see any work, I'm not going to give you any credit, okay? That's it for today's math lesson. I hope you had as much fun as I did. I can't wait for next week. Take care, have fun, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.